Welcome back everyone. Today's story is What If Naruto Escaped the Village After Years of Neglect? Part 1. If you enjoy Naruto What If stories, make sure to subscribe for more content like this. He ran off again. Away from the adults that ignored him, or worse, away from the children who avoided him or scorned him. He couldn't understand why they were like this. Why he was treated this way. He couldn't remember a time when someone hugged him besides the old man. He never knew a time when someone treated his wounds or kissed him good night. He just couldn't stand to be in that place anymore, within the walls of the orphanage where he was treated like a pariah. But even running from those walls, those people, he couldn't escape from the looks, the scorn. He made his way, fighting back tears of frustration, sadness and pain through streets unfamiliar to him and farther from the orphanage than he's ever been. These people unfamiliar but their actions the same. He was so confused. His emotions were so overwhelming that he could hardly breathe. He just wanted to scream. Do anything to make them stop. To understand why. To have someone, anyone who'll just look at him with something even remotely positive. Naruto stopped amidst the crowd of people, a wide berth around him. Fists clenched, body tense, face tight with emotions and feeling this overwhelming urge to just run. But before he could do that, a gentle hand settled onto his shoulder and he jerked in surprise and a bit of fear. He turns around hurriedly, out of the person's grasp, and looked up to see a young woman on her haunches smiling gently and her eyes beseeching. Hello. Naruto was still tense, unsure how to respond, what to do, as he swallows a bit fearfully. Hello. I'm Aika, love song, the woman introduces, holding out a slim pale hand. Naruto, he mumbles, unsure whether to take the proffered hand or not. Hope warring with fear. Naruto, Aika smiles invitingly, slowly reaching out to take his hand and shake comfortingly. I am happy to meet you, Naruto. So, the people at the orphanage blamed you for something you didn't do and kicked you out just because the kids you were trying to stop said you did it. Aika whispers, chewing on her stick of Pocky. And they wouldn't even listen when you tried to explain. Naruto sniffs loudly, his own stick of Pocky hanging limply in one hand as he tried to wipe the evidence of his tears off his face. After Aika Nichin introduced herself, Naruto broke down and cried. She had panicked a bit but in the end carried him to a quiet park bench where she held him until he stopped crying. As soon as he did, she sat him beside her, handed him a snack and asked what was wrong. He was so overwhelmed and happy to have someone, anyone, care that he just let it all come out. Aika pulls a handkerchief from her pocket, gently pulls his hand away and carefully begins to wipe his face. She pinches her lips together and looks a bit dazed but focused. That isn't fair at all. She whispers. Why do they hate me so much? Naruto asks, not really expecting an answer but desperately needing to ask. Aika stops her ministrations and looks down, her fist clenched and trembling. She whispers, voice quivering before biting her lip and looking up determinedly. It's because they don't know you. And because they're too stubborn to learn. I don't understand, Naruto says, eyes brimming with new tears. Aika looks at the boy regretfully before gently running her fingers through his golden hair. Maybe one day you will, Naruto. I'm so sorry that you have to shoulder such a burden, and I hate to ask you this, but please Naruto, please be strong and don't bow to the burden you carry, and please, find it in your heart to forgive us all. Forgive? Naruto asks incredulously. Why was she sorry? Why did he have to forgive her? She was so nice to him, she never hurt him. It might be hard and it might take time, but I hope someday you will. She whispers, tears trickling down her face. Panic twists his stomach as Naruto watches Aika cry, his throat tightening with his own desire to cry. Don't cry, Aika Nichin. I forgive you. You're so nice to me, so please. Please don't cry. Aika sniffs gently, a watery laugh following. It's okay, Naruto. Sometimes you just need to cry. I'm alright. Are you sure? Naruto sniffs, his own tears beginning to build. Considering his own heartfelt expression, Aika smiles gently and holds out her hand. Will you hold my hand? She asks, taking in his stunned and rather timid expression. It'll make me feel better. Naruto bites his lip and slowly reaches out to take her hand. As soon as he does, Aika gently squeezes it before relaxing her grip so that he could pull away any time. Naruto blushes and his hand trembles, but he keeps his hand there as they cry in the empty park. Chapter 2 Ninja Lesson. I don't want to go back. Naruto mumbles. Aika Nichin looks down at him and gives Naruto's hand a gentle squeeze. Honestly, I don't want you to go back either, Naruto, but I can't just take you. Why not? Naruto asks, a desperate yearning in his voice. Can't I go home with you, Ika-nichan? I promise to be good. I'll do whatever you want. Ika pauses and looks down at Naruto, eyes wide. Naruto, you just met me. What if I was a bad person who tricked little children and hurt them? You're not a bad person. Naruto confidently exclaims. I'm happy you're so sure, she smiles a bit nervously. But I'm worried about how sure you are. You said you wanted to be a ninja, right? Yeah. I'm going to become Hokage someday. He proclaims, grinning widely. Well, as a ninja and Hokage, you're going to meet people who only pretend to be nice but really are just trying to get information or try to hurt you or your loved ones. As a ninja, you have to be careful about who you trust. Ika says firmly, kneeling to look him in the eye, hands on his shoulders. If you're not careful, you can be tricked into doing something bad or you'll get hurt. You can't trust blindly, Naruto, you need to be sure before you let someone at your back. Are you going to trick me or hurt me, Ika-nichan? Naruto frowns. People lie, Naruto, she says, refusing to answer the question. She needed him to understand. Not all the time, but they do. They can lie through words, and really good liars can even lie through actions. But no one's perfect, everyone makes mistakes, and it's what a person does instinctively and when they think no one is watching that tells you who they are. Naruto listens intently to Ika-nichan's words, face scrunched up in concentration before tilting his head to the side. Huh? Ika bites her lip and looks around. They were in a rather secluded spot, hardly anyone on the road with them, and those who were gave them a wide berth and blatantly ignored them. She needed to find a way to show Naruto what she means, but how? That was when an old lady began to slowly make her way down the road, cane clacking loudly as it hit the pavement. Naruto, do you see that old woman? Ika whispers, her hand firmly at the side of his head to keep it from obviously looking at the old woman. Yeah? He replies, confused at the change of topic. Alright, we're going to follow her and I'll show you what I mean. Ika says, standing and taking his hand as they begin to carefully follow. Confused but happy to spend more time with her, Naruto agrees. But first, disguises. Ika says firmly, leading him into a secluded spot, away from prying eyes, and kneels with her back to him. Get on my back, Naruto. A wide smile on his face, Naruto scrambles onto her back, his arms looping around her neck and his chin resting on her shoulder. I'm going to let you go, so hold on tight, okay? Ika says before doing so. As soon as she's sure Naruto was practically glued to her back, she performs a seal, and a burst of chakra later, she was now a nondescript mother carrying an infant on her back. Now stay quiet, okay? Naruto was practically wiggling with glee as they began to follow the old woman through the shopping district under disguise. He was like a real ninja, and if it wasn't for Ika-nichan telling him to be quiet, he would be laughing up a storm and begging her to teach him some cool ninjutsu. They kept a sporadic distance from the old woman at all times, occasionally 2 shops behind, sometimes ahead and once right beside her, but she was always visible to Naruto, and he watched her intently at Ika-nichan's insistence. He didn't know exactly why they were doing this, but after a while, he started noticing something weird about that old lady. Sometimes she didn't act like an old lady. They were brief instances and there weren't many, but they were still weird when he thought about it. They had been following the old woman for about an hour, the sun beginning to set, when the old lady led them to the ninja academy, where a small group of children with a Chunin instructor waited. Alright, Sato is the last one. Great job, everyone. Make sure to practice your disguises, information gathering and infiltration skills. The instructor calls out. Dismissed. With that, the old lady pops with a puff of smoke and turns into a kid from one of the later years in the ninja academy. All the children in the academy yard bow and bid farewell to their instructor and leave to their own homes. Ika casually walks past them in the direction of the orphanage for a while, then stops at an empty road. Do you understand what I was telling you, Naruto? Ika asks, dispersing the henge and kneeling to let Naruto off. Ninjas aren't the only ones who lie like that. Who pretend. Lies can be as little as someone saying they like tomatoes, or as big as saying the Hokage is being controlled. Not all of them are done or said to hurt someone, but it doesn't change the fact they're lies and that there is always a reason for them, good or bad. This is why you have to be careful about who you trust, about what you trust. Naruto bites his lip and nods. He was a little confused about the last part, but he understood what she was telling him before. But I can trust you, Naruto says firmly. I just know it. Ika-nichan blinks in surprise before scoffing lightheartedly and smiling widely. I'll try to live up to your trust. Do you trust me? Naruto asks, head cocked, a serious expression on his face. Nichin looks deeply into his eyes a moment, face serious, before nodding firmly. I can trust you. Do I still have to go to the orphanage? He asks hopefully. You might not know this, Naruto, Nichin says. But there are people who care about you and would be very scared and worried if they didn't know where you were. People who won't let me take you without being sure they can trust me with you. Like who? He asks. Nichin smiles and takes his hand to lead him the rest of the way to the orphanage. Well, what about old man Hokage? He's always visiting you, right? He visits all the other kids too though, Naruto rebukes. That doesn't make you any less precious to him, Nichin replies. A precious person is still a precious person. And I'm sure there are more. Have you seen anyone who hangs around you? Who drops by to check on you? I don't know, Naruto shrugs, thinking back as far as he could. It was so hard to remember anything other than all the glares and the scorn. What do you mean you threw him out? A voice growls out. He's a menace and a danger to the other children. I can't have that monster, another shrieks before being cut off. He is a child. Not a monster. He's a member of this village just like everyone else. Nichin and Naruto turned the corner to see the head caretaker of the orphanage arguing with an Anbu agent just outside the orphanage. The head caretaker squared his shoulders and voice trembling says, I refuse to care for that child. He spits the last word. Any longer. My agreement with the Hokage was for 5 years, it has been several months since its 5th year. Naruto's hand was trembling, his lip between his teeth and his eyes downcast. Nichin squeezes his hand reassuringly before kneeling and whispering in his ear. See, I told you there were more people who care about you. Surprised, Naruto looks at her in disbelief. What was she talking about? Was she seeing and hearing what he was? She smiles and gestures to the Anbu agent. Only someone who cares would be that angry for you. Would defend you. Realization dawns and Naruto looks over to the dog-masked Anbu agent. Now that it was brought to his attention, he recognized that mask. He was usually with old man Hokage whenever he came to visit, and sometimes he came alone to take him to him when he was too busy to stop by. He was always in the background, but he was still there. The Hokage will be hearing of this. The Anbu agent says menacingly, making the caretaker tremble. The Anbu agent turns and freezes, finally noticing Nichin in him. Nichin stands and leads Naruto towards the Anbu agent. I found him in District 9. We spent the day together. He's fine. The Anbu agent's previously tense posture slowly relaxes before he tilts his head in acknowledgement. He lifts his hands and makes several hand signs that Nichin watches carefully and nods. What did he say? Naruto asks, tugging at their linked hands. And why doesn't he just talk like before? He's a little embarrassed, Nichin whispers sweetly into his ear. I don't think he expected us to overhear his argument, now he. Nichin is suddenly pulled back into the Anbu agent's chest, mouth covered, wiggling with glee and amusement in her eyes. Ika, you talk too much. He says quietly and with an undertone of exasperation. Nichin giggles and taps the hand over her mouth, prompting him to release her. Sorry, she giggles. I forgot how much your image means to you. Even through the mask, Naruto could hear a heartfelt sigh. Seriously, only you. Do you know each other? Naruto asks, looking between them. He and I attended the academy together. Ika chirps. You're a ninja, Nichin? Naruto asks excitedly. Is that why you knew that jutsu? The Anbu agent turns toward her inquiringly and Ika shrugs. I performed a henge and followed one of the academy students practicing their disguise and infiltration skills to teach Naruto something. Turning back to Naruto, Ika answers his question. I was a ninja. A chunin in fact, but I may never be put into the field again. Why? Naruto asks timidly, aware of the sadness and regret underlying her tone. Something happened that made it impossible for me to be put onto a team without endangering myself and others. She replies. I haven't taken a mission in over 5 years. A pity too, the Anbu agent says. She was a near-perfect spy. Wasn't half bad at taijutsu and genjutsu either. She probably would be a tokubitsu jonin or jonin now if not for what happened. The Anbu agent says, his posture casual, his voice bored. Wow, really? That's so cool, Nichin. Naruto exclaims, pushing away his desire to ask what happened. He wasn't sure why, but he felt that Ika-nichan didn't want to talk about it and he didn't want to upset her. He didn't want to see her cry again today. Hey, do you think you could teach me to be a ninja? I promise to try really hard. Ika-nichan smiles gently and holds out her hand, Naruto immediately taking it. Sure, Naruto. If it's all right with old man Hokage, I'll teach you some things. Naruto grins, gripping her hand tightly, his insides squirming with joy. This day may have started bad, but it sure was ending great. Well, as the saying goes, delay not to seize the hour. Aeschylus, the Anbu agent, says, hand placed on Ika's shoulder and the other in a seal. Ika snorts just before the Anbu agent performs the Sunshine no Jutsu and they disappear, leaving behind a few leaves in their wake. Chapter 3: Bad Beginning. It was dark out. The streets were devoid of any children. Most civilian families were already within the walls of their homes having dinner and relaxing after a long day. Sarutobi Hiruzen could hardly remember a time he went home at this time of day. The last time, if he recalled correctly, was the night before his dear wife died. The night before the Kyuubi attacked the village. Hiruzen sighs deeply as memories of that awful night floods his mind. Has it truly been 5 years since that night? He whispers. It was then that Kakashi, dressed in his Anbu uniform, shines into his office with two people, one an unexpected guest and the other a guest he had been expecting to see much earlier than this. Old man. Naruto exclaims happily, lunging at the third Hokage, who chuckled and embraced the boy. Naruto, it's so good to see you. Hiruzen smiles, hiding his fatigue. Sometimes, even Naruto's exuberance couldn't revive him. I was expecting you hours ago. The implied question was answered by Kakashi. There was a problem at the orphanage. He says delicately. They kicked me out, Naruto says bluntly. Even though it wasn't my fault, but they wouldn't listen. But that's okay, because then I met Ika-nichan and she taught me about trust and we followed this old lady and then she told me about me being precious and then she said she'd teach me to be a ninja as long as Gigi says yes. So can you? Say yes. Naruto laughs, his words rushed and barely coherent. They kicked you out? Hiruzen asks, surprised but a cold fury slowly beginning to build. Yeah, some kids were picking on one of the babies, pinching her and making her cry, and when I tried to stop them, one of the kids fell and started crying, and when the grown-ups came they started yelling and they kicked me out. Naruto answers, fighting to keep his smile and light-hearted tone and failing miserably. Naruto's face becomes pinched and his lip trembles as he pushes his face into Hiruzen's side, clutching tightly to his robes. Hiruzen looks up at the other two present in the room, his eyes demanding answers. Naruto ran off afterwards and I found him wandering around District 9. We spent a couple of hours in the park there, just talking, and when I was taking him back we came across an academy student practicing their henge and infiltration skills and we followed him back to the academy. I was trying to teach Naruto that not everything is as it seems and that he shouldn't trust me without being sure of my intentions. Ika says, summarizing their evening. Yeah, but I know I can trust Ika-nichan, Naruto says, his confidence obvious even past his tears and sniffles. After that we went back to the orphanage and Ika-nichan was telling me that even though I trust her, people who care about me might not yet, and that you'd be worried if she took me home and you couldn't find me. Then we saw Dog arguing with that mean old man and Ika-nichan told me that he was angry because he cared and stuff. Nothing in Kakashi's posture gave it away, but behind his masks he was blushing in embarrassment. He wasn't ashamed about caring about Naruto, he just wasn't used to his emotions and feelings blatantly being pointed out. Dog was arguing with the caretaker. Hiruzen asks, surprised. Aloud? Yeah, he even growled and stuff. He was angry that that mean old man was calling me a monster and kicking me out. Naruto confirms, innocently escalating Kakashi's embarrassment. That mean old man said that he only said that he would take care of me for 5 years and I already had my 5th birthday, so he wasn't going to take care of me anymore. A silence follows Naruto's words. No one really knowing what to say. I was really sad and angry when I heard them yelling, Naruto says after a while, his face contemplative. I don't get why he hates me so much, why everyone seems to. But Ika-nichan said that they only hate me because they don't know me and they're too stubborn to learn. Hiruzen looks at the young woman in his office. She stood there, seemingly relaxed except for the fact she was beginning to perspire. I'll just have to show them who I am. I'll be so great that they can't ignore me anymore and they'll have to see me. Naruto says firmly, drawing Hiruzen's attention once more. Which is why you have to say yes, Gigi. Even Dog says that Ika-nichan is super awesome. I just know I'll be a great ninja with her help. Hiruzen chuckles. Sometimes he wonders if anything will keep Naruto down for long. He doubted it, and that was why he was sure that Naruto would accomplish his dream. Seeing such determination gave him the strength to keep going. If Naruto, who was a little over 5, wasn't going to quit in the face of his obstacles, why should he bow to time? Turning back to the young woman, Hiruzen notes the minute details that showed her strain, the slight tensing of her shoulders, her brow beginning to perspire, the barely discernible pinching of her lips, her twitching fingers. Signs that only a professional would pick up, and proof that even now she was an excellent ninja. Or would be, when or if she overcomes her condition. Aika, how are you feeling? Hiruzen asks. Aware of what exactly he was asking, Aika smiles, her face a bit tense with strain. I'm a lot better than before. I've spent the entire day in the village. But I would truly appreciate going home soon. Is something the matter, Aika-nichan? Naruto asks, noticing the conversation's undercurrent. I can't be around people too long is all. Aika replies nonchalantly. Hiruzen makes a vague noise of agreement and looks over the girl worriedly. She may have played off how strenuous it was for her to be around too many people, but Hiruzen knew better. Aika was the sole member of the Shirajuku main family. They are a well-kept secret of the Fire Nation, a civilian clan with a Kekkei Genkai. Their Kekkei Genkai makes them natural sensors and excellent interrogators. They have the natural ability to sense chakra and can also feel the emotions of those around them. The more developed their chakra coils and the bigger their pools, the farther they can sense and the more they feel. The clan is scattered throughout the Fire Nation as physicians, psychologists, merchants. Their ability makes them naturally predisposed to dealing with people. They are an old and wealthy clan. Aika is the only living member of the main family. The reason for that, the Kyubi no Kitsune. The night the Kyubi no Kitsune attacked Konoha, the Kyubi incited panic, fear, despair, hatred, and confusion. Such a large concentration of negative emotions overwhelmed the members of the Shirajuku main family, who had made a home within the walls of Konoha, to the point that they were driven into madness. Some committed suicide, others became comatose or simply non-responsive and died. Aika is somewhat of a miracle. She was the only member of her family to develop her chakra for use as a ninja, and that should have killed her. But she managed to hold on to a sliver of her sanity, and 4 years later, she left the psychiatric institution to live in her family's home. She may never be able to handle the strain of battle, but she was building herself up again, and Hiruzen was sure she would return to being a ninja of Konoha, even if only as a chunin instructor. The question was she ready? Was she ready for even a single student? He wasn't worried about her ability as a ninja or instructor, he was worried about her well-being. If she pushed herself, she could be driven into seclusion. All the progress she had made in the past 5 years could be for nothing, and she had gone through so much already that he'd hate for that to happen. I can handle it, Hokage-sama. Aika says, smiling comfortingly. I told Naruto I would help him. I can do it. Ma, as long as the training is mostly done in her home, I don't think it'll be much of a problem. Kakashi interjects. Hiruzen raises an eyebrow at Kakashi's conduct. Under different circumstances he would have had Kakashi disciplined for his casual behavior, but considering the only people within the office were him, Aika, who knew who was under the Anbu mask and was someone you literally could hide practically nothing from, and Naruto, who was only 5 and had little to no observational skills, he would allow it. Just this once. Though he would be discussing this with him at a later time. Turning his attention back to the conversation at hand, Hiruzen looks into Aika's confident gaze and Naruto's pleading eyes and sighs deeply. As long as you're sure, Aika-chan. Yes. You're the best, Gigi. Naruto exclaims, jumping up, arms outstretched. Hiruzen chuckles and waves them all into seats and taking his own, Naruto climbing onto his lap. Now, as for Naruto. What about me? Naruto asks, head tilted back, grin firmly in place. Well, we need to figure out some living arrangements for you. Hiruzen replies. I don't much care for putting you back in the orphanage, so the question is, where shall you live? Aika smiles indulgently, brow raised and huffs in exasperation. Are you asking me or Dog to take Naruto in? Hiruzen coughs and pulls his hat down to cover his light blush. He should know better than to be anything but blunt with the Shirajuku. They weren't much for beating around the bush and were liable to call you out when you did. I can't even take care of my house plant, Kakashi volunteers. Naruto would be much safer with you, Aika. You are rather hopeless, Aika sighs dramatically. If Naruto went with you, I'd never get a wink of sleep for worrying so much. especially considering your taste in literature. He's far too young to be corrupted just yet. Kakashi shrugs, taking the jibe in stride. I'm going home with you? Naruto asks hopefully. Well, I'm going to be your sensei, so I suppose that would make the most sense. Aika smiles teasingly. I guess you get your wish, Naruto. Yes. Best day ever. Naruto shouts, jumping up again and trembling with excitement. Chapter 4 Family Home. This is where you live? Naruto asks in awe as they enter through the main gate. It was huge. When you enter, you are given a full frontal view of a large Japanese garden. A large pond to your left, weeping willows dotting the edges, white chrysanthemum patches scattered across the yard along with some knobby trees that had an artistic feel. It was a huge front yard and one her parents had used to host outdoor events for just about everything. Even after their death, an Aburame came once a month for pest control and a Yamanaka came every week to care for the plants and keep them controlled. There was even a greenhouse on the property used to grow herbs for Konoha, plants that were hard to come by if you weren't extremely wealthy or well-connected, two things the Shurajiku family were. It's really big, huh? Aika laughs awkwardly. It was kind of embarrassing. Are we going to train out here? Naruto asks excitedly, looking around frantically. No, she replies, feeling a blush begin to creep over her cheeks. When I decided I wanted to be a ninja, my parents had a training ground and dojo built for me to use at home. Really? So cool. Naruto laughs, ready to run off to explore. Before he could do just that, Aika quickly grabs his hand and reels him back to her side. You can explore tomorrow, Naruto. Let's go inside, eat and go to bed. Naruto, grin firmly in place, begins to tug her toward the entrance of the house right across from them and Aika follows. The entranceway was rather wide and long with shelves for shoes on the left side and a closet on the right to fit just about anything else. It had 4 niches within the walls that mimicked round windows with geometric designs and where flower arrangements were placed to give an inviting feel. Straight ahead was an inner courtyard with only a single tall twisted tree, a few stone flower pots of varying sizes, white sand, stepping stones and 2 sets of stairs leading up to the second floor in opposite directions. The first floor has a large guest room, sitting room, tea room, dining room, game room, family room and formal room. Aika says, starting from the room to her left and circling back around. Where's the kitchen? And the bathrooms? Naruto asks, awed by the size of not only the house but the rooms. Really, most of the rooms could be closed off with screen doors and there would be 12 large comfortable rooms. The kitchen is out back, as is the laundry room, Aika says, opening the screen door in the dining room out into the yard where Naruto could see a long open hall leading to a separate building. The bathrooms are between the guest room and sitting room, game room and family room, and in the library, which is connected to the formal room. I thought you said there was a dojo? Leading Naruto into the family room, Aika opens the screen to the outside, revealing the training grounds, which was bigger than the front courtyard. The building to your left is the dojo, which also has a bathroom. The 2-story section to your right is the library and storage room. Leading Naruto back inside, Aika takes Naruto up the stairs. Over the dining room are 2 communal baths, side by side, 4 large bedrooms with their own toilets, 2 large suites with a sitting room, toilet, and large bedroom, and you can also access the library from up here. You can pick any room you like. Where's your room? Naruto asks. I have the suite connected to the library and overlooking the training grounds. Aika replies. Her parents' way of being supportive of her decision to become a ninja, give her everything she'd need and let her live the life she chose. Naruto rushed into the room right beside her own and back out the other side to look out at the training ground. I'll take this one. Naruto calls back gleefully. Aika smiles and heads down the stairs. I'm going to start dinner, I'll call you back down when it's done. Oh. I'll help. Naruto yells just before he rushes after her. Don't you want to explore a bit? It's a really big house. Aika asks, smiling as Naruto takes her hand. He's going to be clingy at first, isn't he? Not that she minded, it was actually kind of nice, but she hoped he would come to trust her, not to change her mind and abandon him. He told her he trusted her, and on the surface, that was true. But after so much neglect, scorn and hatred, a part of him was afraid that she would leave him, which would probably be just as bad if not worse than physically beating him. So even though it was nice to feel his smaller hand clasped in her own, she knew he was holding her hand to convince himself she was there and wasn't going to leave him. The desperation, tinge of fear and hope spoke volumes to her. I can explore some other time. Naruto replies smiling. Okay, Aika agrees, then remembers something. Oh, on the other side of the kitchen, in the opposite corner than the dojo, we also have a hot spring. Why do you have so many rooms? Naruto asks, confused and then awed as he enters the kitchen. I have a big family, so whenever they came to visit they'd stay in this house. My mother also hosted the clan council, the ladies' council and a number of events in this home. Hey, where are your parents? Naruto asks suddenly. Aika pauses in preparing the rice, a wave of grief crashing down on her. My parents died years ago, so did my brothers and sister. I'm sorry, Aika Nichin. Naruto mumbles. Aika sniffs lightly, willing the tears away and smiles at the boy. He was so sweet. It's okay, Naruto. I'll always miss them and it'll always hurt, but they wouldn't want me to stop doing what I wanted just because they're gone. They would have liked you, you know. Naruto smiles shyly, then begins to help her prepare dinner. Chapter 5 Day 1. The next day, Naruto's morning started a little bit different than he thought it would. With a bucket of ice-cold water poured over him. Good morning, Aika Nichin greets sweetly, oh so innocently, holding an empty bucket over him. What? Naruto asks, still a little dazed over the fact that sweet, sympathetic, caring Aika Nichin just dumped ice water over him. It's time to get up. Aika Nichin states, walking out of the room. Oh. And Naruto, you need to be more aware of your surroundings, even when you are asleep. She says, the smile she gives him over her shoulder small and still managing to sound like a threat. Get dressed, we have morning training. What? Naruto asks the empty room, then shivers from the cold. He makes his ways downstairs, looking around for Aika Nichin, officially a little hesitant about this training thing. I'm in the training ground. Naruto hears Aika Nichin yell. Approaching cautiously, Naruto steps into, then out of the family room to see Aika Nichin standing in a clearing. I'm going to walk you through some stretches and then I'm going to test your speed, strength and stamina, okay? She smiles. Then we'll eat. Naruto nods, then slaps himself on his cheeks. Okay, so it was a little weird to see this side of Aika Nichin, but she was helping him and that means he needed to try his best. An hour and a half later, Naruto wasn't too sure how long he'd be able to keep up with her training. Wow, Naruto, you have some amazing stamina. Aika Nichin says, kneeling down where he collapsed. You're not very flexible and you're only average as far as speed, but you're pretty strong too. He'd say something, but breathing was a little hard at that moment. He vaguely wondered if this was child abuse, then he felt his shirt being raised. He looks down and sees Aika Nichin pressing her fingers around his ribs and stomach before moving on to his arms and legs. What do you usually eat, Naruto? What does that have to do with anything? Mostly rice, cup of ramen, milk. I don't really like fish, it tastes and smells funny. Fruits? Vegetables? Any other meats? I don't like vegetables. I only get to eat fruit every once in a while, and aren't those brown bits in ramen meat? Aika Nichin looks at me for a second, then rubs the bridge of her nose, taking deep breaths. The people at the orphanage didn't feed you anything else? Naruto shakes his head, wondering what the problem was. It wasn't like they starved him. Sometimes he got hungry, but it wasn't all the time, and food was food. Alright Naruto, Aika Nichin says resolutely. While you're here I'm going to teach you how to take care of yourself. That means cooking, cleaning, grocery shopping and finances. I'm going to train you and I'm going to teach you. So, you better be ready, Naruto. The gleam in her eye was a little frightening, but he asked for this and Uzumaki Naruto never went back on his word. After breakfast, Aika Nichin sat him down to talk. After today I have an idea where you are physically, but being a ninja isn't just about being strong, it's about being smart too. Tonight, I'm going to give you a test to see where you are, but I have to get the test first, so until then you can do whatever you want. Aika Nichin says, talking over Naruto's groans over taking a test and setting a firm hand on his shoulder just as he was getting ready to run off and explore. You can go out into the village if you want, I'll be heading down there myself, I can pack you a lunch but I want you back before the sun sets, alright? Yes, Aika Nichin. Naruto smiles, fatigue gone and excitement building. Are you going to head out? Aika Nichin asks. Is it okay if I stay here and explore? Naruto asks. That's fine, just pick up after yourself and be careful. She agrees, standing to leave. Don't worry. I won't break anything. Naruto replies confidently. I was talking about you. She says, rolling her eyes. I'd be really scared if I came home and saw you hurt yourself somehow. I'll make you something for lunch that I expect to be eaten before I return, okay? Feeling warm inside, Naruto nods and helps Ika-nichan make lunch before seeing her off. Just from this morning, Naruto was sure the training would be hard, but he was sure that it was going to be more than worth it if only for the fact of knowing Ika-nichan cared. After she left, she headed straight for Yamanaka Flowers to procure an IQ test commonly used within the academy from Inoiki, head of the Yamanaka clan. Every ninja clan had a hand in the academy curriculum. The Yamanaka clan were essentially Konoha's ninja psychologists, so they handled any lectures centered around dealing with the loss of comrades, missions gone wrong, first kills and other common monumental events that occur for active ninja. They, along with their allied clan the Nara, also created an IQ test given to the academy students on their first, third and fifth year. However, a task that should have been easily completed took 2 hours because they were Konoha's go-to psychologists. When she was institutionalized, Inoiki was her psychiatrist and he set conditions to her obtaining the requested test. Namely, she was required to visit him once a week for a follow-up to make sure she wasn't staining herself. I mean it, Ika-chan, Inoiki calls as she begins to leave. I better see you sometime next week or I'll be coming to visit myself. I have plenty of guest rooms, Ika calls back cheekily. Bring your family. Inoiki laughs at that. I just might. Making her escape, Ika makes her way to the Hokage Tower. When she got there, she was almost immediately ushered in. Ika-chan, I was hoping to see you soon. Hiruzen smiles. Where's Naruto? He wanted to explore the house, she replies, sitting down across from him after he gestures for her to sit. I had some things to discuss with you regarding Naruto. As did I, Hiruzen agrees. But I can wait. What is it you wanted to discuss? I wanted to ask you to send over a medic to give him a full physical. She says bluntly. Preferably with dog. Raising a brow in surprise and gesturing her to continue, Hiruzen could tell he wasn't going to like what he was going to hear. I'm no professional, but I believe that Naruto is malnourished and I'm concerned that that isn't all. Ika says tightly. I would take him to a doctor myself, but I don't think I'm ready for that and I'm not sure I can trust any doctors to be professional in regard to Naruto. What I've seen and felt so far doesn't inspire my faith. Thus, the reason you would like dog to escort them. Hiruzen concludes. He wished he could say such measures were unnecessary, but he could not. Naruto may not be the only one, Hokage-sama. Ika says. The caretaker. He was so mean-spirited. I'm concerned about the welfare of the children in the orphanage. I will have someone investigate, Hiruzen sighs, desperately hoping